The worst kept secret in NASCAR this week got revealed today as it became official that Kyle Busch will drive the number 8 car for Richard Childress Racing in 2023 on a multi-year deal. You could kind of tell Kyle was somewhat salty about the announcement being spoiled almost a week in advance, calling the announcement an announcement of the announcement. But overall, Kyle seemed very relaxed, and I'd say as emotional as you could expect him to get when talking about Joe Gibbs and Toyota and his time there. He had his wife and son Brexton there to support him. And there was a really cute moment where Richard Childress came out on stage and gives not only Kyle the watch that he took off on that notorious day where he supposedly punched Kyle, but also gave Brexton a contract option for him to drive for RCR in the future, which I thought was really cool. I'm not sure what the validity of that contract is, but Childress said it was legit. Said that he wanted that to be there for Brexton when he came of age. And either way, even if it was just a cute gesture, it really could have been like sneakily genius. Brexton's talent, while at this point it would be very, I wouldn't say he's on the projection of being on the same talent level as his father or uncle. There's still a lot of room for him to grow, and he's definitely shown potential. And if he does become something, having the relationship with him and his father might be a solid 10-year investment, just saying. But as for the official stuff happening right now, Kyle will drive the 8 car specifically. I'd say some interesting news was that Reddick will, without a doubt, be back with RCR next year, but in a third chartered ride. No word on what the number would be. I'm sure it'll be either 31, 33, or maybe bring back the 29. But Richard Childress was very adamant that he will be back and he will get a third charter. It was explained why. It wasn't really explained why exactly Kyle was going to be in the 8 car, but I have to assume having Kyle in the 8 was how Richard Childress pitched sponsorship to many companies, and I'm sure Kyle probably preferred the number 8. You always like to have the single digits, and I mean, it's just the number 8 car is obviously the second car behind the 3 car. I think it was just kind of it was an obvious way to show that Kyle is the future. Reddick is going to be moving on, and if it wasn't obvious that Reddick will be in a lame duck season in 2023, putting him in a brand new team, having to start from the ground up, would certainly get your point across if you're Childress. And I mean, he said very firmly that they will get a third charter, but he wouldn't speak on how he was going to come across this, or if it would be a lease or a straight up buy. But more than likely, I'd like to say it would be a lease. I'm thinking for maybe a team like Rick Ware or Spire that might look to try and focus on just one car next year. But maybe RCR will acquire a full one. But I still just have a hard time believing Richard Childress Racing has the funds to purchase a $20 million charter. But we'll see. It would make sense to get a third charter since they have Austin Hill looking like a solid Cup prospect. Factor in that now you have a top-tier truck team to align yourself with, and you need to start probably thinking about getting some seats to fill with a possible healthy prospect line. Now, spotter Brett Griffin of the Door Bumper Clear podcast added his 2 cents in, as he usually does, from his Couch Racer account, pretty much implying that Childress is bluffing about getting a third charter to play hardball with 2311 Racing, which makes some sense. It would cost millions more to get a charter, whether it's buy or lease, and keep Reddick as opposed to just letting him go. But who knows? Like I said, getting a third charter could be beneficial in the long run. I also wonder if there's just nowhere for Tyler Reddick to go. If both Busch and Reddick are racing at RCR next year, it might be a sign that Kurt Busch will not be retiring. So there really won't be a seat available at 2311, because I would assume if there was one of the two would have filled it. But, that's just speculation at this point. Kyle Busch Motorsports got brought up, and Kyle Busch did say that they will run next year and they will be switching to Chevrolet. He didn't comment on what this means for the drivers that he has in-house or if he may downsize the team, but it seems likely he'll have to start from scratch in terms of a driver lineup. I'm going to make a video tomorrow about some names I think could be in contention for a rebranded Chevy Kyle Busch Motorsports, but I think it's safe to say Corey Heim, Chandler Smith, Sammy Smith, and maybe John Hunter Nemechek will be looking for a new Toyota-owned home next season, whether it be Joe Gibbs Racing in Xfinity, Sam Hunt Racing, or ThorSport. Last little interesting tidbit from the press conference, there is a option in Kyle's contract that he can run the Indy 500 as long as it's in a Chevy team, something that Kyle has expressed in the past and this year already. So I'd look for someone like maybe McLaren, who is a Chevy-owned team and also loves to make big moves like this and has talked about having an extra car in the 500. I would look for them to maybe have some news coming up in the next few months about maybe just talks or rumors about Kyle Busch signing on for one race. There's expected to be more news about sponsorship and stuff like that in the coming weeks, but most of the questions we had coming into this press conference were answered. But what do you guys think? Are you excited to maybe see a Dale Jr. number 8 throwback for Kyle Busch? Tell me what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you all have a great day.